Hey everyone, welcome back to Coach Hall Writes. In today's video, we're going to be talking about some of the reasons why students might want to take AP Lang. Now, if you're wondering what AP Lang is, I have a separate video on that I will link in the description box below. And if you are an AP Lang teacher or student, I would love it if you would be sure to follow. Make sure that you click the subscribe button here on YouTube. And if you're a TikTok user, I would love a follow on that platform as well. In this video, we're going to talk about multiple factors that students should consider as they decide whether or not AP Lang would be a good fit for them. Now, I recognize that many schools offer alternative options, such as a concurrent credit class or maybe dual enrollment. So it's really important that if you're not sure whether or not you should take AP Lang, that you talk to your English teacher, maybe your AP coordinator, because each person in each school have a different set of circumstances. That being said, here are some of the more common benefits to taking AP Lang. As with other AP classes, most schools weigh their AP classes on a 5-point scale, allowing for a possible GPA boost depending on your performance in the class. So that means, for instance, if you earn an A in the class, you would be weighted on a 5-point scale instead of a 4-point scale, so your weighted GPA would increase. Now, each school does their weighting and grading differently, so it's important to understand how that works at your specific school. Something else that can be enticing for students is the option for possible college credit. Not every student chooses to take the AP Lang exam, but in May, there is a test that students can take. And depending on your score on that test, whether you receive a 3, 4, or 5 composite, you might be eligible for college credit. While many colleges accept AP scores as a means of testing out of a class, if you will, each college or university does have the option to choose which scores they will accept and what those scores will count for. So, for instance, at one college, they might say that with a 3, a student could test out of Composition 1 or College English 1, whatever it's called at that particular university. But at a different college in the same state, that college might require a 4. Some of the very prestigious colleges require a 5. So now you might be thinking, okay, but wait a minute, what if I don't want to take the exam? Or what if I don't get a 3, 4, or 5 composite? Overall, AP Lang has a strong qualifying score rate, but it's true that not every student earns a qualifying score. Having taught this course for multiple years now, I can say that the students who earn a 1 or a 2 as a composite are still better prepared for college having taken the class. The skills that we go over in AP Lang are very important for a variety of different majors. And so because of that, we want to make sure that we recognize that while the AP Lang exam score can be a motivating factor for taking the class, it can be great to get that college credit. And let's face it, paying for the AP Lang exam is much cheaper than paying for a college class. The exam itself is not the be-all, end-all. The score does not define you. In fact, many students take multiple years to go through this transformation of becoming a stronger writer, but it starts in AP Lang. So please don't let the fear of not doing well on the exam be a major deterrent for taking the class. There's so much more to the class than just an exam score. Now let's talk about some of the course benefits. So yes, AP Lang is an English class. And one of the things that I commonly hear is, well, I'm not an English person. I much prefer science or math. But here's something that students don't always realize, and that is that you need certain reading and writing skills to be successful in college level science and math classes. There are 2 AP English classes, AP Lang, which is the one we're talking about in this video, and AP Lit, which is one that focuses more on poetry, short fiction, and I could venture to say that that one is less versatile to students, but AP Lang focuses on nonfiction. The skills that you learn in this class, such as analyzing complex works of nonfiction, synthesizing research, constructing effective arguments, and many more skills, are very helpful as you navigate into some of those college classes about biology, kinesiology, chemistry, and more. Because AP Lang focuses on rhetoric, which is the use of language to manipulate or persuade. And because it focuses on helping students craft effective essays, this is a class that's going to help you in a variety of your college classes. Because in college, you have to read complex texts and write essays, even if it's not an English class. And for that reason, I think AP Lang is a very important and very versatile class for many students, regardless of what your future career goals are. Now let's talk about a couple other benefits. Many students who take AP Lang happen to be juniors. And for many students in their junior year, they're either going to take the SAT or the ACT. The good news there is that if you take AP Lang, you're focusing on multiple choice skills that are also on the SAT or the ACT. So by preparing for one of these tests, you're preparing for the other as well. And as I already alluded to in this video, there are academic writing skills that are covered in AP Lang that are incredibly important for other disciplines. Understanding complex text is going to be important as you go into college. It's not just important in college English classes. For many students, depending on what your major is, you're going to be reading a lot of nonfiction, which is what we cover in AP Lang. And so understanding those higher level texts is going to be a great skill. Another skill that we talk about quite often in class is selecting evidence. That's going to be important as you are evaluating somebody else's argument, but also as you are constructing your own. And of course, crafting an argument. When you write a research paper or an argumentative paper, you want to make sure that you're being persuasive and clear. Those are skills that we cover in this class as well. And those are just a few of them. There are more, but I wanted to choose some that I felt were the most important that could transcend multiple disciplines in college. On the AP Lang exam, there are 3 essays. We call them FRQs. And if you're someone who's like, well, I'm not a strong writer, I probably shouldn't take the class, just know that we see transformations as students go throughout the year. No matter how good my students are in August, they are a better writer in May because they took the course. And also, if you're watching this video and you're like, I'm not a really strong writer, I don't know if I can handle it, just know that it is a process. It takes time. And if you do end up taking AP Lang, I'm here to help. I have multiple videos about each of the different AP Lang FRQs that break it down step by step so that students can be successful as they prepare for the exam. The first essay that students encounter on the exam is called a synthesis essay. It's kind of like a mini research paper, which is incredibly important for those of you that are like, I'm not an English person, I'm more of a science person. Chances are in college, you're going to have to write research papers for science and possibly other subjects as well. And so learning how to navigate the research process, how to use sources to support your own argument, how to structure a coherent essay. These are skills that we cover in AP Lang when teaching synthesis. And yes, you might cover research in earlier grades or in other English classes, but it is a tenet of AP Lang that I think students should be aware of. We also cover rhetorical analysis, which is my personal favorite of the 3 FRQs. And this is the one, though, that I could see people saying, but that's not a really important skill in college, because you may or may not have to write a rhetorical analysis paper, which is true. So if you do have to write it, it's great to know how. And if you don't, though, you do want to acknowledge that rhetorical analysis is a valuable life skill because you need to be able to understand arguments. Whether it's an advertisement on TV or an email that you receive, you need to be able to understand how it's being tailored to the audience. In the same regard, you are going to have to construct arguments yourself. Whether you're trying to ask your boss for a raise, or maybe you're trying to negotiate something with a family member. Whatever the case may be, rhetorical analysis comes into play as well. So while it might not be the most prominent of the essay skills you would encounter on a regular basis in college, I would venture to say that it's very important in life in general. The third essay on the exam is an argument essay. And so throughout the class, we teach students how to understand and craft an effective argument. That's a valuable skill for not just academics, but also life in general. Lang classes are going to vary from teacher to teacher, school to school, but they predominantly focus on nonfiction. Many AP Lang teachers incorporate discussion and collaboration in their class. And then also, because it is an advanced class, the amount of homework and things like that is going to vary, again, teacher to teacher, school to school. However, time management is one of those skills that students learn by taking advanced classes because you have to learn to meet deadlines and balance the workload. Again, this could happen in other high school English classes as well, but one of the things that my students have told me about AP classes in general is that it's taught them to be better at time management, which did help them in college as they made that transition from high school to college and gained more independence. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, if you are an AP Lang student, please make sure that you subscribe. That way you don't miss any future AP Lang videos as you prepare for your upcoming exam.